Hey, what is up mortals? It is Mr. Zombie here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 1,000 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you guys are subscribed to us, so please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with all that out of the way, let's get into the story. Even with the excitement of receiving the high school application form, it was just another day for Hitoshi Shinso at Nabu Middle School. Shinso ignored the cater of his classmates as he wrote on his form his school of choice, UA High. There had been multiple times in his life that people have called his quirk villainous. Some had even said that he would be a great villain, fear evident in their voices. None of their words mattered to him. Shinso was going to do what he needed to do so he could go to UA and become a hero. A couple of weeks cruised by after high school applications were turned in. As Shinso started to pack his things to head home, he was called into the principal's office. Shinso saw a disheveled man with long black hair talking to the principal upon entering the office. Something about the man seemed familiar, but Shinso couldn't seem to put his finger on it. "You wanted to see me?" Shinso asked. "Hello, Shinso," the principal said with slight hesitation. They gestured to their guest as he turned to face Shinso. The student noticed how tired and no-nonsense the man looked. Shinso's eyes were also drawn to the strange gray scarf that wrapped around the man's neck. "This is one of the teachers from UA's hero course," the principal said. "He wanted to talk to you personally. I'm Shouda Aizawa. You must be Hitoshi Shinso. What do you want?" Shinso asked. Aizawa got the faintest of smiles, straight to the point, just how he liked it. "The UA entrance exams don't factor in quirks like yours. If you solely rely on your quirk, you'll be lucky to make it into general studies." "I know. That won't stop me from achieving my goals. I will become a hero." For a moment, memories of his youth flashed in Aizawa's mind. Nodding, Aizawa said, "Guess we have work to do." Aizawa started to leave the office. "Follow me." The two left the school grounds. After they walked for some time, Aizawa and Shinso arrived at a simple-looking two-story building. Aizawa unlocked the door and motioned for Shinso to enter. Shinso entered and examined the room. The room was vast and mostly empty. Simple martial arts weapons were hung on the walls and the floors were covered with impact mats, similar to those found in a dojo. There was a set of ascendant stairs in the back right corner of the room, which Shinso could only assume led to Aizawa's living space. "Alright," Aizawa said as he walked into the middle of the training space. "Show me what you can do." A little confused, Shinso dropped his backpack by the door and took a few steps towards Aizawa. Aizawa put on his signature goggles that were previously hidden under his scarf. "You want me to fight you?" Shinso activated his quirk, thinking that he could win this fight easily. "Time is short, Shinso." Aizawa got into a low fighting stance. "If you want to get into UA, you have to hit the ground running." Aizawa rushed at Shinso. The young man had become fearfully confused. Why didn't his quirk work on this guy? Aizawa shouldn't have been able to move unless Shinso told him to. The teacher threw a right hook at Shinso. He was only just able to dodge the attack. Sadly, Shinso didn't see the left uppercut until it hit him in the jaw. He fell to the ground with a thud before Aizawa put his foot against his chest. "Or else you'll just hit the ground." Shinso looked at the man in the eyes, seeing past the slits in his goggles. He noticed that Aizawa's eyes seemed to have turned red, just like the old man's fist to his jaw. The realization hit him. He's a racerhead. The pro hero removed his foot from Shinso and helped him up. "There's 10 months until the entrance exams. I'll teach you what I can during that time so you have a better chance of getting in." "Why go through with this?" Shinso asked. "Why are you doing this for me?" Aizawa thought for a moment, removing his goggles. "Your quirk has the potential to do a lot of good. You should get the opportunity to reach that potential." A small smile tugged at Shinso's face. Aizawa had spent the next few hours teaching Shinso basic combat etiquette. Weeks and weeks went by as Aizawa helped Shinso increase his speed, strength, and stamina. They trained in a manner reminiscent of Doc and Little Mac, along with weight training and martial arts practice. Seeing how quickly Shinso was picking up the combat training, Aizawa started to teach the young man the binding cloth fighting style. The two became more open to each other as they spent more time together. They bonded over the habitual insomnia, tastes in coffee, and love of cats. After Shinso arrived at Aizawa's place for more lessons, he found his teacher leaning at his apartment door. Aizawa wasn't dressed in his hero uniform, but was dressed in a simple V-cut black shirt and black pants. The pro hero seemed surprisingly relaxed as he met Shinso's gaze. Aizawa stood straight and faced Shinso. "Glad you could make it." He started walking down the street. Follow me. Shinso walked with him. Where are we going? You've been working hard these past few months and have made an impressive amount of progress. You should be rewarded for your efforts. I recall that you mentioned that you like cats, right? Shinso nodded at Aizawa pointed down the street. There's a cat cafe down this way. I go there when I'm not busy. Their coffee's pretty good, and the cats are pleasant. The two entered the cozy shop. Aizawa ordered a plain black coffee while Shinso ordered a mild coffee with some cream. They took a seat in the cat area and just enjoyed their drinks for a minute. An orange Bengal cat moved over to Aizawa and hopped up onto his lap. Aizawa pet the cat as it laid down. Hey there, Gizmo. It was an odd display that Shinso was seeing this cold, apathetic, and impatient mentor cuddling and happy with the feline in his arms. I assume you're a cat person? Shinso said. Yeah, they're more tolerable than people. Not to mention they're cute. Shinso nodded in agreement. The two spent the next hour or two talking about cats and other interests. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we have a third channel called We the Celestial Naruto What If. We the Celestial Naruto What If is mainly focused on our Naruto What If series. If you're interested in content like this, please go check the description below, or check the eye icon at the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. The day of the entrance exam arrived, and Shinso walked through the gates with confidence. He sized up the other students that entered the building. Any one of these kids could end up being my opponent, Shinso thought. He noticed an angry blonde boy yelling at a passive green-haired boy. The green-haired boy didn't seem like much of a threat, but Shinso knew better than to let that falter his guard. The blonde one, however, looked like an angry and aggressive fighter. He'd definitely be a problem if Shinso had to face him head-on. Shinso watched too for a moment before entering UA High. The concept of the practical portion of the test seemed simple enough. Destroy folk villain robots to gain points. The higher you score, the better your grade at the end of the exam. That 0-point robot is going to be an issue, Shinso thought. Not to mention everyone else is good enough to qualify. I'll have to plow through every one of them to get where I need to go. After he arrived at one of the battle cities, Shinso began to stretch while examining his competition. The only one that truly stood out was the blonde boy with an aggressive personality. He's going to be dangerous, if not extremely annoying. His quirk is probably as destructive as his social skills. President Mike called for the start of combat. Shinso rushed ahead, maintaining a position near the front of the pack. He maneuvered down a street alley and rushed to a different street, getting away from the crowd of people. Two two-pointers came into view. They hadn't noticed Shinso yet. The young man rushed at one of the robots. He took out one of the legs of the robots with a punch to the joint, completely dismantling the limb. The robot turned to Shinso, who was in between the two robots. Both robots landed at Shinso as he dodged out of the way. The robots crashed into each other, and Shinso landed solid punches on them. They crumpled into a heap of scrap metal. Shinso heard something approach from behind. A 3-point robot fired a missile at Shinso's direction. He avoided the attack, only stumbling from the force of the blast. It rushed forward for a physical attack. Shinso dodged it, jumping on top of its head. He kicked out the lens of one of the eyes of the robots and didn't stop until its head had completely caved in. The 3-pointer went limp, causing Shinso to lose his footing and stumbled off the robot. He immediately scrambled up to collect more points. With only the side effects of bloody knuckles and bruising, Shinso was doing very well for himself. Shinso took a minute to breathe with 5 minutes until the test was over. The ground began to shake. Some buildings were struck and began to collapse. A large shadow loomed over the folk city, which drew Shinso's eyes skyward. The Titan-sized 0-point robot, rimmed light by sunlight, stared down at the test takers with glowing red eyes. Screams and panicked running echoed across the streets. Several test takers tried to avoid the debris. Some weren't so lucky and ended up getting pinned down or trapped. Shinso looked conflicted. His eyes moved between the people that were in danger and those who ran away from danger. He wasn't sure what to do. Something that Aizawa had said during training came to mind. Hesitation gets people hurt, whether it's you or someone else. Your lack of action will likely end in tragedy. After he rolled his eyes and cursed to himself, Shinso ran to the small group of trapped individuals in an alleyway behind the pile of rubble. He quickly bound up the mound and examined the situation. A girl with plans for hair and a normal-looking brunette boy tried to get someone out from under the pile of rubble. Shinso ran along the building's wall and landed next to him. Need a hand? The two unaware test takers answered him yes. simultaneously before their eyes went white. Shinso got them under his control. The boy was Ken Kaibara, and his quirk was Gyrate, which allowed his limbs to turn into screwdrivers. The girl was Ibara Shiozaki, and her quirk was Vines, which allowed her to control her vine-like hair. Shinso told Kaibara to help him lift some of the debris so Shiozaki could extract the victim with her quirk. The unconscious teenagers that were pulled from the rubble had cuts and bruises on their person, but doesn't seem to be hurt beyond that. Shinso instructed them to take the injured to safety and to flick each other in the forehead after it's done. After he scanned the area for more casualties, Shinso ran out of the way of the Zero Pointer's path of destruction. About a week passed by. Shinso hadn't been able to contact Aizawa, which the young man understood since his mentor was employed by Yue. He spent the time practicing the techniques and stances he was taught. Then the letter from Yue came. Shinso held the letter tightly. His hands shook from nerves and excitement. He opened the envelope and dumped out a metallic disc. The device blinked and lit up. All Might appeared on the holographic screen. He greeted Shinso in his trademark bolterous way. A rare smile appeared across Shinso's face as the #1 hero congratulated the young man on his prowess against the robots and rescuing the trapped student. The message ended with All Might welcoming Shinso to Hero Academia. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer of this video and editors for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have a fantastic day.